Let me know if
Right. Welcome to the Natural Physique Podcast. We are back with a show review and random questions if we got any. It was very late questions, so we might not have any, but we've got plenty to cover from the show. Myself and Matt were at it. Noah, you have just seen through social media, so we'll kind of talk about that. And if you've got any questions about it, because I'm sure you'll have similar questions to the audience if they've not seen too much about it. But we've got UKDFBA's page up here, all their tag posts. We'll see everything and discuss through the show itself. But yeah, Matt, what do you think of the standards, posing, like overall standard in general? How do you think the show was run, so on and so forth? What was your opinions?
well, obviously I've never been to the Heart of England before or any of the other regionals, so it was kind of hard for me to tell what the standard was like compared to previous sort of years. But I was pretty impressed, especially with like this was a novice show, wasn't it? First timers or novice? There was a lot of it was first timers, wasn't it?
Yeah, it
Well,
was
yeah,
like the
there was
class.
first
Yeah.
timers, like there was
Yeah,
first timers classes at the
like
start, which were good standard, especially classic physique.
I was going to say,
Like,
classic physique was one of the standouts in terms of the first timers.
yeah, this is it here.
But yeah, was pretty impressed. Obviously, I think the majority of the main or the people there had kind of come to see the return of AJ, which was
AJ
obviously
Morris.
very cool to see. But overall,
People
like
liked it
standard wise,
on your live video.
yeah, my live
No,
stream
did you see
was.
that?
I joined at one point.
Oh mate, it was
What did
brilliant.
you think of it?
I thought it was fantastic, man.
Yeah,
We
so
were
well,
we
I
were having
couldn't
a
I couldn't
great
stop
time.
shaking with excitement.
Yeah. It was literally for people that didn't, people most likely wouldn't have seen it. Mate, there was like 60 people in there at one point, and we had had the plan of the return of AJ Morris and then just don't show him. And we were all putting that in the background. He's so good. Oh my God. But not show him on the live. So there was someone that was sat right in front of us, and Matt had positioned the phone perfectly so that you couldn't see AJ behind the person's head.
You could see
Uh,
everybody else on the
Absolutely.
stage
Yeah, the one
apart from
little bit you
AJ.
couldn't see was AJ. This is great. Just farming the algorithm, and everyone was in the comments like, "Fucking show them." I wanted because Jake was holding it at one point, and I wanted him to like look as if he'd accidentally flipped the camera around, and he was just kind of like looking at it like that.
Yeah.
He's saying, but he didn't do it. He just kept turning it around like as a whole. I was like shocking. But yeah, that was good. AJ was good as well. To be fair, obviously we'll get into it a little bit later, but. I do
So,
agree that the standard was pretty solid. They've moved the Heart of England round this year. So Heart of England's usually September time, but they've done it, what was it, end of May this year. They usually have like the NBW show at the start, then Heart of England's at the end, but they've flipped it on its head. So the Heart of England at the start, and then the NBW show, which is now the NBW International, so kind of like a big finals, is in, I think it's what, October 11th? Is
And
that?
then there's another one in September, which is like the another qualifier for the
Yeah, so that's
MBW.
like the UK DFB Open qualifier. So the UK DFBA officially you've got two shows, and then the MBW you've got their own, but it's still kind of in partnership with the UK DFB in a sense. And that'll have like a full pro show as well. So that'll be really exciting. If anyone wants to go to like a good bodybuilding show this year and want to see like a high standard of pro athletes and good production, I'm pretty confident that that show will be shit hot. But yeah, to go through the show itself, Noah, anything from your end, anything that you want to know or you've seen, anything you want to point out?
I'd want to see a bit more in regards to, obviously we'll probably get to that towards the back end, but the overall, like I didn't really I saw some of the class winners, obviously with the juniors with Jacob,
Yeah.
but I didn't really get to see how, because I thought he looked pretty good, but I didn't get to see like, was he really looked at? How did he line up in the
And the
overall? So
overall, yeah.
what was the script with overall? Who's challenging?
Yeah, right. We'll get into that. We'll go through a few different physiques first, like based on the day and the classes. I believe I have a photo of the running order just because I had to make sure that I could be there at the right time for AJ Morris coming on stage. Wouldn't miss it for anything, you know. So I've got the running order up here. Quite a long show to be fair, in a sense that there was a good amount of classes because there was the first timers and then it went into the normal. But the good thing was they done the bodybuilding overall like before they went on to men's physique. So I don't know anything about the men's physique because I didn't stay to watch it and we ended up
I
just
stayed.
to you stayed.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Yes,
we stayed
actually,
for the full
that's
thing.
something I wanted to ask.
Yeah,
Did
because you'll
the
be
junior
competing men's
standard?
physique just
Yeah,
to see them.
I put it in the Annie Gaines chat, but
Yeah.
again, I want to know, like Matt, if you were able to see it, what did you think of the standard? Like, how was it?
So the first classes to go through, the first timers bodybuilding, this one here. So a good standard in this class. This guy was really lean, like with a good level of muscularity. I don't think his posing was tremendous. Matt, fucking give him a message, will you?
I will
Um,
do.
But like a lot of them, like their posing's obviously not going to be perfect because it's first timers. However, it's also somewhat not of an excuse. Like I'm not going to say that again. It's going to be spot on when you're competing for the first time because you don't know. You're used to having like a mirror in front of you. You're just not used to having like lights right there. But all this stuff you can practice for. Like for my first show, obviously I had flaws for my posing, but my posing was pretty decent. Like you definitely can practice that, and it will make you stand out in a first timers lineup because this guy here who came second, I
Second,
believe.
he was
Yeah,
very fucking lean. He was really
peeled,
shredded, wasn't he? Yeah.
but he couldn't pose very well. This guy was just very good overall. Like he was pretty complete in a sense. This was Charlie Everall's client, and I think this is whose post it is. Yeah, Charlie Everall. This guy here, good level of muscularity. So he came third. This guy here came second. I think it possibly should have been the other way around. Like Charlie's client or not should have, could have been leaner. But levels of muscularity posing from him, I think were better than this guy. Like he looked a little bit awkward through his posing.
Mm.
Like you see there with the front lat spreads.
He didn't open his lats up at all. Yeah.
Yeah, it was this guy was really good as well. He had a hell of a lot of muscle. Like you can see there, he's got a lot of muscle. He just needs to be a good bit leaner. And it wouldn't surprise me if he's, taking that class with relative ease. If he has a good bit more condition. But yeah, that class was really good. This guy here, so that's Charlie's client there. But this guy that won it, his mates were sitting behind me, and there was like eight of them. And when he won, like they didn't know if he was going to win or not because I don't think any of them knew about bodybuilding. So like they called out third, they called out second, and I was looking, I was going to say like he's one of, I was like I'll just let them,
Mhm.
call him out, and they all went off a fucking nut. They went mental. So it was good to see like him having all his boys there to support him. But yeah, he done really well. I think that first timers class was a really high standard to be honest. Like that's a really good top five for a first timers class, and I think there was like 10, 11 of them in there. So they split that up into two kind of sections there, and they've done it with a few different classes because there was a good few people in some of them. This being one of them. So the first timers classic bodybuilding. This guy here literally had no waist, like none at all. Ridiculous. Like if I think it is Finn's.
It's that guy, Jack Hickey or something.
Mate,
Hickerman.
what
Yeah.
the fuck was that? Like he would open up into a front relaxed. I don't know if he's getting any shots here. You can
Yeah,
kind of see it there.
it's-
Mate, like it would open up into a front relaxed and his like one of his quads were bigger than his waist. It was ridiculous. Just levels of muscularity, like he was a little bit, I'm not gonna say smaller, but again, just maybe not
He
sure.
looked a little bit stringy on stage because
Yeah,
he was so lean and because he had like standout body parts that were very small, like his waist, for example.
yeah,
But the problem is he didn't really have the muscularity in the right areas to kind of back it up.
yeah.
So especially through like the lats and the delts and the arms, things that would give you a bit more of an X frame. He didn't. It's not that he didn't have them. He was kind of lacking a wee bit compared to some of the
Slightly
other guys.
undersized, yeah.
So even though his waist was so fucking small and he was really in condition, he did sort of lose a little bit because the rest of the body parts weren't up to that standard. But he was really fucking good. His conditioning was unbelievable,
Yeah.
and he posed really well too. So
Yeah, I think he was probably one of the most classic out of them realistically, but again, level of muscularity does obviously have its place. This guy here was, I'd say, bigger, but again, not quite as detailed, but his
so
last
I know that guy. That's Tom.
yeah.
Tom, for me personally, he was the most classic in the lineup.
Yep.
Um, but where he made up for his shape, he definitely lost out in conditioning to the other two guys. So that's why
Considering this guy was very lean as well.
the
Like,
guy who won was the best combination of everything.
yeah.
But for me anyway, he wasn't the most classic, but I do think he was the best on the day. And I know that I watched Christian and Lee's kind of show review. They agreed with me on that statement and the fact that second was probably the most classic, Tom was probably the most classically shaped,
Yep.
but the first was the best there. And they'd recommended that the guy who won, if he was to keep putting on size, which he obviously will be,
Yep.
he would probably be better suited to bodybuilding. But he was very good.
Yeah. His ability to get into condition as well and everything. Like, not that it's not rewarded in classic, but if he can get big and get into that condition, that'll be rewarded very well in bodybuilding. But yeah, the standard in there was again really good. So first timers wise, absolutely spot on. I thought that was brilliant. Next classes, so you had first timers, men's classic physique, teenage bodybuilding. So I don't think there's any posts on
But we
here.
know who won.
But if we go on to, I don't know if Reese has a post of them in the
He
line.
does. Well, it's him and Jacob on it.
Yeah. So Sam won the teens class. I think there was four people.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
There we go.
this is Sam here. Sam was very lean, as you can see, like
Oh,
a good
yeah.
chunk leaner than everyone else. Mate, bro is so handsome. It's incredible.
Yeah.
I think after he won, like he was stood there with the medal, and Lee was like, "Can you tell us a secret? Like, can you tell us a secret?" And he was like, "What?" And then he was like, "Are you Superman's son or something? Like, how do you look like that?" And he was just stood there like, I don't know what to say, but cheers. And he was like, "What did you do like previously? Like, did you do some like sports or something like that, like to be able to get that physique as a teen?" And he was like, "Well, I used to do gymnastics, so an athletic kind of background, but he does look very good. His condition definitely stood out. His tan stood out as well. Like,
Yeah, just like his overall kind of presentation, just
yeah,
from like the town, the way he looked, like all those things make such a big impact. Oh
yeah.
fuck.
Yeah, you can definitely see it here. Like, Alex, this boy here, I seen that he said he literally just ran out of tan, so he couldn't do much about that. A little bit more glaze on what I believe is James Alabaster's client. And then same goes with Matt here, who competed against me in 2023, and he's trained at the Physique Club a few times as well. Yeah, remember he competed at the BNBF show, Noah. Yeah.
Yes.
So there was a few people in there like that we already knew. I realistically thought that Sam was going to win it because he is very fucking lean. And again, it does definitely make a difference. Like if these other, like Alex, for example, I'm not sure how long his prep was, but I had a consultation with him over a year ago now. And I said like to have a longer prep to make sure that he's got a better starting position, but he's just still done his own prep for this year. If he was leaner, he could be really good. Like his level of muscularity is solid. It's just a case of planning that prep out because he follows a lot of old school bodybuilders in the sense that he really likes old school bodybuilding, which is sick. Like I think a lot of people need to do that more, and stop being focused and worried about all the little nitty gritty things. But and over analyzing this and that. But he does do it in the sense that I think he just goes from peak off season to like going into a prep and it's maybe like 12, 16 weeks long. It's like for an actual prep to get lean, you need to be taking longer than that, or you need to start leaner than that. There needs to be a one of them there. So yeah, Sam was really good. And I was quite excited to see him in the overall as well because I thought, him, Jacob, AJ, what I thought was going to be Calvin, which we'll get onto in a little bit as well, was going to be a really good overall, and it was. So we'll go into that soon. But teens bodybuilding, anything else to point out there? Anyone, Matt? Anything at all?
Probably the best conditioning in the entire show for me, which
Yeah,
is mental considering he's a teen.
yeah,
But like glutes were stripped out, hamstrings were ridiculous from the front.
yeah.
Like
See there.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, very, very good. Very good. Very big future ahead if he does sort of stick at this. Yeah, fantastic.
Jacob at 81% here.
Pretty good 81%,
Let's
isn't
not
it?
let's not get into it.
No, come on, we'll have to mention it.
Yeah, we'll go through it at some
We'll have
point.
to. We'll have to.
Yeah, once we get round to the junior bodybuilding. But yeah, Sam really good. I do think some posing improvements, but again, it's his first time and he was doing between men's physique and bodybuilding, so I think he wasn't quite set on one of them and didn't get to practice fully on it. But for like his quarter turns, hips I remember were like really far forwards and he was kind of leaning back a good chunk. Hand was like over to the side here instead of down like so. But again, it's all stuff that you learn from after coming off stage. But I think he's done with his prep for this year, so will be interesting to see him and what he does in the future. Next was junior bodybuilding. So Jacob versus Calvin round two. I'm on Reese's page here, not Ukdfba. To be fair, it's probably even better that I'm on Reese's page. We can just go straight onto not onto that, at the Liverpool thing.
Fuck
Yeah.
Liverpool.
You see people
Fuck the
running over
Arsenal.
that. You see the car running everyone over.
Mental.
Mental. Imagine it tried to run Reese over. Just like fucking stop it. Go on here. Wait, is no, that's. I was laughing at this because they put music over it,
Yeah, yeah.
and
Same.
it's them talking. You can't hear shit. It's like a wee cold moment. If we
Probably
go
that one. Yeah.
here, so Jacob won the junior bodybuilding in a competitive lineup. If we go onto his page, I don't know if we've got any photos of it on there. Where's Jacob?
I think he has done a post.
Yeah, with him against some others. Jacob's really good. Like for those who
He's
haven't seen him,
fucking- yeah.
he competed in 2023, but was soft. I'm sure he won't mind me saying that. Like everyone knew that he could have been pretty good, but he wasn't quite in shape. Started coaching with Reese this year, and they've got him to kind of what he could have been, and now what he obviously has done this year and achieved what he maybe should have beforehand. Still a junior, which is good. So it means he can go up into those lineups too. PCA show done well. Calvin took the overall against him, like just pipped him a little bit there. And then in this junior bodybuilding class, Jacob took the win. So I don't know if we've got any photos of them next to each other. Be good if we can get them. Maybe even go into the UKDFB's page.
There's a couple of photos. I've got quite a few on my phone, but
Yeah, so there we
right
go.
there.
There's Calvin there versus Jacob. So kind of different looking physiques. I would say I'm not going to say like polar opposites, but Calvin's got big legs and a smaller upper body. Jacob's got a bigger upper body and smaller
It
legs.
was like where one person was lacking, the other person
Yeah.
made up. So
Yeah,
it was like, where's the biggest difference? That's kind of
yeah.
what it sort of seemed
But you
like.
can see there Jacob's arms, delts, etc. A good chunk more bubbly. Whereas Calvin's quads, like the way that they're shaped and the way that Calvin is just shaped in general is really nice. You can see there like that vacuum's a good chunk deeper, like the lats sweep out that little bit more. He is more shapely, but Jacob is, I would say, more of a bodybuilder in a sense. Like if you're
Yeah.
looking at like if you were to put both of them into a classic lineup, Calvin demolishes Jacob. In a bodybuilding lineup, I think it's a lot closer, but Jacob is more bodybuildery in a sense. But that was a really, really close one. Like we didn't really know what way that was going to go. I remember like sat in the crowd and we were kind of discussing who's taking that. When Jacob got called out, some people were like, should he have won that? But it's a difficult one. I think again Calvin should have won the classic. Like I thought that's why they maybe done it. You know, like they've gave Jacob the bodybuilding because they knew that Calvin's coming on later for classic. And I know that shouldn't be the way it is realistically, is who's the best bodybuilder in front of you. But I think they gave it to Jacob and then Calvin because they knew that Calvin was going to dust classic physique later on. But there's a little bit
Right
of
off the bat. Mhm.
yeah, it didn't go that quite that way, which we'll get onto. But yeah, I think Jacob definitely does have stronger points than him. Calvin has stronger points than him, but as a bodybuilder, I think Jacob is that little bit better. Matt, your kind of analysis of it, know anything to chime in with as well?
So initially, when I was looking at it, I did have Calvin winning. That is probably just my own bias into being drawn more towards like that kind of classic
Yep.
shape and like sort of preferring the more not necessarily bubbly look because like Jacob is very bubbly, but
Yeah.
that sort of more perfectly balanced, better shape. Like that's what I kind of think bodybuilding is. So like initially I was just drawn towards Calvin. I tried going body part for body part, pose for
More
pose,
so pose for pose, yeah, you'd
and it
analyze
was
what pose
so
they
fucking
won.
close. And I
Yeah.
thought Calvin had just taken it. Um, but then upon reflection and looking back at the photos, I'm kind of like, yeah, Jacob. If you're going off criteria, Jacob deserved to win,
Yeah.
100%. So there's definitely no complaints in that. I know there was a couple of issues with Calvin's tan, which knocked him down a little bit. So for those of you who don't know, Calvin had Dream Tan on, which is banned within the Ukdfba. So I
That?
know that he did get knocked down for having that on. He got told to wipe it off. He did wipe it off, but it was still on him because it had just been put on by him and his coach.
Wow.
So I know that he did get marked down for that. So that's just a good reminder to everyone, read the rules and regulations of the federation you're doing.
Yep.
Don't just assume that because you can do something in one federation that you can do it in the other. You will be marked down. And in this case, I think it actually could have cost him that junior title. So, but yeah, like
Yeah,
Calvin's
always stick with
unbelievable.
the tan that the Federation offers
Yeah,
because it means that you're not going to stand out, be any different to anyone else. Like it means that you've got a level playing field, and more so, like you can have your own kind of glaze at the back if you want to add a little bit extra on, or you can ask them for a little bit more. You can put on a little bit more tan, etc. But always use the Federation's tanner or someone that you know is really good. The person that comes to mind realistically is Nicola, isn't it?
like, well, yeah.
Like at some shows, if you've got say a BNBF show and you need to apply your own tan, you know that your skin doesn't take too well to it, ends up looking quite like blotchy and stuff. You can get Nicola, you can sort out a tan with her, and that's always going to be really solid, no matter what the lighting is. Like as long as you're getting two coats from Nicola, and you sort your glaze there, then you usually should be sound. Again, it's different person to person, so make sure that you do kind of like actually trial out some things. But yeah, Calvin was really good, and it was probably like one of there's a few of them to be fair. Like one of the closest battles of the day because obviously the overall was a split decision as well. Um, oh, like this.
Oh,
I'm
nice
getting
one.
nice and sexual there. Love that. But yeah, like Calvin versus this guy as well in the classic physique was good.
Classic.
A very good battle too. Again, apples and oranges. There's some different things to talk about there, but Yeah, that covers teens, juniors, etc., etc. We had the masters, grandmasters. So there was a guy that competed in the WNBF Worlds last year. That competed again as Dan Watson's client. You've seen him like the big, fucking massive guy that's just peeled. He gets really lean. His posing could definitely improve. Like there was a heavyweight class, that I think he could have done well in, but his posing wasn't quite where it needed to be. I don't know if we've got any photos of him, to be honest.
Might be on Dan's.
Yeah,
Um,
Dan will probably have
mm,
posted about him to be fair.
Yeah, good shout. Sorry, we haven't prepared, or I haven't prepared very well for this, but I thought we'd have a lot of them on the Ukdfba page. But yeah, there was a guy in here that is really, really solid. Hopefully he has posted about him.
that's
Yeah,
him.
guy
Yeah.
here. Like when he's in full condition, he is very, very, very lean. We've seen it at the WNBF Worlds last year. Again, posing wise, I think his hips are a little bit too far forwards here, and it takes away from that quad detail. Because we know that he does have pretty ridiculous detail when he does switch them on properly. Would you say the same, Matt, looking at this pose?
I think if you go back to that one of the heavyweights, you can kind of tell the difference. When
Yeah.
you see, if you zoom in, you can see the other guys are all split right up to the hip.
Yep.
There's like you can see that sartorius muscle coming down from the hip flexor down into the quad.
Yep.
While this guy, I can't remember what his name is, but Dan's client, you can see it is literally just quad, and then there's like a whole area of like dead space where there's
Yep.
no detail. That's just posing. If he
And he's
tilts
lean
those,
enough to have that detail. It's
yeah,
just
you should have that detail. Uh-huh.
it's the same as like Sam Sulek when he competed for the first time. Um,
Mhm.
his legs had no detail through them, and then he competed again a week after, and everyone's like, "How does he get so much leaner? What the fuck?" And it's like, no, he literally just moved his hip back ever so slightly, and there you go. So it does make a big difference. But Grandmasters, he won that, I believe. He was good. Open men's classic physique. I'm not going to cover the female categories in here because I don't know how to judge them properly. So I'm not going to like kind of give much feedback on them. Are you the same, Matt? You're realistically.
Kind of have a bit of an idea, and to be fair, I
Yeah.
watched all of them.
I also didn't watch them much, to be honest, because I like watching the men's classes because I'm like, right, who's going to win it? I'm going to take him, 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 him. With the female classes, I can't really do that as well because I don't know the judging for it. Sorry, so yeah, just going to go for the men's stuff for just now. Then we'll cover like overall winners, etc. as well. But open men's classic physique. So another one that was very close.
Mhm.
This was Lewis, pro coach's client, wasn't it?
Yep.
Um, that won the overall. There he is there, munching. What is that?
He seems a bit mental. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
He's a bit mental. So we went to Apollo before or on the Saturday for a training session, and he was there in his like fluffy dressing gown outside. Just didn't look like he had a clue what was going on. And
Yeah.
we just wished him good luck, and he was like, "Oh, thank you," and he was all buzzing about it. And I've
Yeah.
watched some of his stuff like in the past couple of days, and he's just like, if you go on a story, it's like him sitting on a bike doing cardio or something, and he's just chatting away, and he
Yeah.
seems to have a lot of energy, but it seems to be like
Oh,
that kind
chirpy.
of crackhead energy
Yeah.
that you get when you're in that stage of prep where you're just like, "Hmm." But
You need to do that or it's going the complete opposite direction, isn't it?
exactly, yeah, I'd rather he be like where he's like that than just
Yeah, yeah.
shuts the world off. So
He looks sick in that shot there.
Yeah,
he
he's
was
getting
unbelievable. Yeah.
very good. So he was up against Calvin in the men's classic physique. Um, and we'd all thought again, like, because Calvin came second in the juniors, but it's all right because he's going to smash classic because he is very classic. But then this fucker comes out and I was like, oh, this is going to be close. So he held center stage the whole time. I don't think Calvin got moved into the middle once. But they were like for the second half of it right next to each other, like going shot for shot. Um, but yeah, like that was a very good battle. He was leaner than Calvin, definitely, and I think that definitely stood out a good chunk. Um, I think Calvin actually has some comparisons of them side by side. It was up on
So
his
the photos of on Calvin's Instagram are actually the ones I took and sent to him for the
right.
podcast.
Okay, nice. Calvin, for anyone that doesn't know as well, if anyone's listening to this and they know who Jack Chan is, Julian just beat Calvin for the WNBA Pro Cards last year. So it was close to that, and I think that's what he's going for this year as well. That's like the overall goal. They'll travel around for that. But yeah, with this year, Matt, your opinions, obviously you being classic physique, posing, so on and so forth. What's your thoughts on the judging here?
So once again, I had Calvin winning. I just like there's something. there's almost something unwritten about classic physique where you just kind of know by looking at someone whether they should be winning. But I think everything from like Calvin's presentation, I think his conditioning was good enough to take the win. Like he wasn't the most conditioned guy, but he still had a lot of detail through his lower body, still had detail through his hamstrings. Upper body was still in condition. But the problem is when that happens and everybody else in the lineup is absolutely fucking peeled, you stand out like a sore thumb, not in a good way. Like
Yeah.
so, this guy Ed was probably yeah, he was probably the most conditioned. He definitely had the most detail. He had good enough shape. Like his shape was very very good.
Yeah, he
And
does. His lats sweep out pretty well there.
yeah,
Like, he does just have that nice sweep coming out there,
he's
like
also he's
especially.
also very tall, and that can play like a massive role in just in terms of stage presence and who your eyes are kind of drawn to.
Yeah.
Um, the main thing that stood out in terms of like where he needs to improve was just his posing and his presentation. Like after one round, he was drenched in sweat,
Yes, I forgot about that.
completely drenched,
Yeah,
and his tan started to run. He just
like
looked so
all down,
uncomfortable
like
up
from
there.
his chin all the way, like a
Yeah.
big line straight down his body, and then
It
the
was
overall as
fucking
well.
brutal. It was
Yeah,
brutal. And even yeah, so obviously posing fitness wise is one of the main issues. But also just his posing in general, like is especially through the lower body, he was locking his legs out. He just looked a little bit stiffer. So he's got if he improves his posing, like he'll be very, very hard to beat.
yeah,
Because once again, like where Calvin was lacking, he made up, but where he was lacking, Calvin made that up.
yeah.
So it was kind of apples and oranges, but I think yeah, it's hard to know. Like based on the criteria of like classic physique not needing as much condition, it's hard to know where you draw that line.
Yeah.
But no, he was. I think Ed probably did deserve the win based on things.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
He was pretty complete in a sense. Like just
Mhm.
that, if Calvin was a few pounds sharper, I think like
Oh yeah. Oh.
near unstoppable in a sense. But he just needs to be a good chunk sharper. Like I seen after the show, he was just munching hundreds of food, and I was like, if you want to be sharper, you can't be doing that. If the feedback is, I don't know if they said the feedback was to be leaner, but realistically, you can see it. I can see it that if he was a good chunk leaner, then he would be like extremely good. Like if he had that real thin skin like they do as well, and that nasty condition, then it definitely would make a difference. I don't know if that
Like
maybe makes him like
I'm
super
not.
fit when they push for that or
This
what,
isn't
but.
like a racist thing, but I know for a fact like Asian bodybuilders find it more difficult to get into
Yeah,
condition.
usually
And,
hold
like,
a little bit of water as well, like when they
yeah.
try to like load back up. I know Julian struggled with that as well. They had to run quite low calories, etc. But again, everyone's different. I'm not saying it's the exact same. I know what you mean. But yeah, like it would be really cool if he could get into that like gnarly condition. It's like the guy that won the WNBF World's lightweight, the Chinese guy last year, who was really, really good. I don't know what his name is. He smashed Dirk.
Yeah.
Short
Um,
guy. He was getting loads of
is it
fake
Zhao or something?
animations. Yeah, I don't know how on earth I would spell it though. Oh, I've got it. Let me go straight up.
Zhao Zebin Zhu.
Yes, let me go. This guy,
Z-E. Yeah, 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 this guy.
this guy here. Yeah, so he won the WNBF Worlds last year. So we head on here. He's really good. Again, like Asian, again, not to, this is not a racism thing at all. It's just they're all built very similarly. They've all got fucking giant quads, which is not a bad thing at all. And then their backs are usually a
A
little
bit lighter through the back,
Yeah,
yeah.
back
yeah,
construct a bit more.
not quite as dense and as thick through the back. I know the Stewie and Calvin worked a lot on. See, he's dense as fuck, geez, oh. They worked a lot on like bringing up his back and bringing up his upper body in general because they usually are pretty lower body heavy. Um, but yeah, for someone like Jal, like if you look there, like pretty damn peeled. So I think it is also like a maturity type of thing as well because Calvin's still young. So it will come with time, but like this type of stuff here, if he can get into that really crispy condition, then I think he'll do extremely well. But that covers the classic physique. Next is the AJ Morris class of AJ Morris. Not even called anything else. Um,
So competitive.
yes, yes. AJ's class, like he should be winning that realistically. There wasn't much. Not only say there wasn't much challenges, if that sounds horrible, but like AJ was a little bit of a step above those guys because AJ's nearing pro level and obviously got his pro card at the ends. And those guys were just like amateurs who looked like amateurs in a sense. He was a little bit of a level above them. But AJ was good. When he first came out, like I thought extremely impressive, of course. But I didn't know what he was going to look like. I didn't know what I was expecting in a sense. He did definitely get better as he posed. When he first came out, like he wasn't switching his legs on fully. And it looked as if he was like a little bit inflamed through the lower body, but somehow as he posed, it looked as if that inflammation dropped off. It's more so that vascularity came through, like everything just started to come to life a hell of a lot more. And he was really good. So AJ obviously won his class. Matt, anything here posing wise? I think he actually does have a good few improvements to make. Um,
Yeah, it's
Yes,
hard to know if he was
well,
actually like giving it 100%. It is almost like he was kind of posing at like 50%. Like it
I
wasn't
thought
even
that as
trying.
well for that first class. Like he wasn't fucking himself up because I've done the same. Like if you know going into a class that's
Yeah,
going to be hugely competitive and you know that you're going to take that, you pose at maybe 75 to 80% instead of at your full capacity.
yeah. Like you said it yourself. Like through the lower body is he wasn't switching his quads on. Part of that I do think is actually like an actual posing issue. If you stay on that shot there, like his legs are completely locked out. Like when
Yes.
you do that, you can get a good contraction for about 10 seconds, but you can't stay on your quads.
Yeah.
If he was to shift his body weight to the outside of the feet, think about a little bit more knee bend. So like when you bend those knees, the quads are going to be partially activated without even having to think about trying to turn them on. And
Yeah.
when you're stage lean, that detail will start to come through anyway. So if he had a bit more knee bend, pop those knees out, he would be able to stem his quads for a lot longer.
Difficult one though, because I feel like if he bends his knees slightly, his physique will be like really, really lower body dominant. Because his upper body isn't crazy large, but his legs are pretty damn full. Like if you look at that photo there without them even being switched on, it's like what the fuck is that? Like
Uh,
that's pretty daft. So yeah, it's a difficult one, but I think that the
it
side
was also
chest,
yeah.
like I don't think this should be out in front as much. I mean, who am I to kind of,
You can give your opinion, like,
yeah.
mm,
I think that if that hand was in a little bit closer and he like kind of brought this instead of this being out here like that, really sucked it up, he could get himself bigger, larger, like close the gap in here. But this is also taken obviously from this side, this photo, so it makes it a little bit more exaggerated. But he was good. He's definitely really good. Lower body obviously really strong. Arms, I think, is something
he's
to bring.
brought them up. He definitely has brought them up, but they're
Yeah,
still a weak body part, as they probably always will be. His chest was definitely improved. His chest was a lot fuller than it had been. I think he had prioritized chest and arms all
yeah,
throughout the off season. But yeah, like he'll never be genetically blessed in the arm department. He's never going to have absolute cannons on him,
yeah,
But he can still make improvements, and he looked very, very good. His back was unbelievable.
yeah.
Um,
It was
not
fantastic.
crazy conditions. Like he did
Yeah.
have glute lines, but he wasn't like stripped out. Um,
Yeah, because whose post was it? It was the guy that won Classic. Where is that post?
Ed,
Photo of them together here. Oh, I've just liked it. Brilliant. You follow him after that. So this guy also done this and he went like that, but done it really quickly. And I looked up and I thought he was just going like that to everyone, just sticking the middle fingers up. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Because they also announced at the same time that he came second, like when he first competed a long time ago, to a guy that was on gear. And as he announced it, he done that. So I thought he was like going to that guy that cheated. Just
like,
like,
fuck
get
you,
up
mate.
you. I've won now. So they started sticking the middle fingers up and I was like, geez, oh. But yeah, I think it just means thank you or something. I don't know. But you can see here, yeah, like he's not inside out here. I'd say this guy's a little bit leaner through like the glutes, the hamstrings. Still great detail, obviously, but I think he'll probably get leaner for his next showings. AJ, I'm not sure the plan, but obviously still incredible. He still won the overall, got his pro cards, um, and yeah, it's very good. But yeah, that's AJ Morris for you. This is
Hands
good.
on
To
hip.
be fair.
Hands on hip.
Hands on hip, hands on hip.
Yes,
Yeah,
AJ.
you can
Yes.
see him give a boom there when he hit that.
Then
Uh,
even you look at that, his quads aren't on.
Yeah, yeah, like I don't know if it's a neurological thing, struggles to switch them on, but yeah, it does look good. Noah, any thoughts, anything at all?
Mate, it looked good. I've just been taking it all in. Like, obviously, I wasn't
Yeah.
at the show, so I'm just listening to like little things that I hadn't really known about the guy that won Classic or what the situation with Calvin and his tan was. So
Yeah.
I
Look at
feel like
this
I'm,
here.
yeah,
See that?
that
Like you
was
can see
I said
the
there.
the tans coming off him. There was one point as well. Tom here, who's really good. So Tom tied with AJ in the overall, technically, because they went it's a split decision. Then you heard everyone go, "Ooh!" in the crowd. It was the anticipation was crazy, absolutely mind blown. But no, everyone was like, "Oh, what's going to happen here?" Then they gave it to the head judge to like make the decision. But when they were posing, someone screamed, "This guy here, Tom!" They were like, "Tom, you can beat AJ. You can beat him." And then AJ started laughing on stage, and he was like, "Fuck off! No, you can't." Like he kind of gave a little bit of like a smirk to like, "Ah, no chance." I thought it was hilarious because it was like so loud over everyone. Tom, you can beat AJ, and he just started like giggling to himself on stage. I was like, that's brilliant. But imagine being the guy that is like, oh, you can beat him. That's order right there in it. But yeah, I forgot what class we were even on. To be honest, it was
We were
the AJ
lightweight
Morris
there.
class.
That was like
Yes. Open men's bodybuilding up to 80 kg. That was Tom's class,
That was
wasn't it?
Tom, yeah.
Yes.
I don't think I saw this one. I think I saw Tom come out and was like, yeah, he's got that. And then I went to the toilet.
I didn't see this either. I think that might have been when we went for.
Oh,
Did we?
did we go to the shop?
Could have been.
No, that was during the interval, I think.
Let me see. Where is Adam's post? Adam put a post up about him. Tom's good. So I didn't know that Tom had competed against Finn previously in 2023. But he's came back this time bigger, leaner, better. Adam coaching him obviously. Very, very close to the overall. You can see there. He's fucking good.
He's ridiculous, yeah.
He's just large, mate. Like even shape wise as well, he looks really good. Is this guy's name Croydon? Something?
Cloydon.
Croydon's a place in it. He's good as well. You can see there he's a big bit of boy too. But Tom was well conditioned, well shaped. I think his tan could have been a little bit better as well, maybe like a little bit darker, a little bit more glaze. I wouldn't say it's bad at all, but again, you can see that AJ's does just look that little bit better, like the glaze, everything kind of like bouncing off a little bit more. Like you see there through the hamstring, you can see that's a little bit more. There's that just looks a little bit drier. So a little bit more glaze on there as well, and I think that would work. And you can see that it kind of picks
Mm.
up a little bit too. It just looks as if he needs a bit more glazing, but yeah, I think he's really good, a very complete bodybuilder, and with more and more time, he will be extremely competitive. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's getting into the pro ranks too, considering the improvements that he's made from 2023, like placing behind Finn, and Finn's shite and all. Finn's terrible. That back spread photo. Ooh,
Get
bad.
it up, get it up. We're not going to do that to him.
But no, yeah, he came behind Finn. Finn was good to be fair in 2023. We always take the piss out of him, but Finn was competitive. When he was actually filling up for the show and didn't just scran four cookies directly before it at the A1. I think he didn't do any peak at all. They ate four cookies and they done absolutely nothing. But yeah, Tom was good. Tom came obviously first in that class, headed into the overall, and then just the heavies. I think that's left. The
Heavies was
40.
quite close, wasn't it? Between
Yes,
Tyvon and
Mondo.
Mondo, wasn't it?
Yeah, Mondo's an absolute G. I like Mondo. He stays very near us now, actually. He trains at an extreme gym. Let's
really?
see if we can find him. Yes. So heavyweights class. I seen a photo of it somewhere down here. I'm sure it did. Apparently not. Um, I don't know how to spell his name exactly.
Oh, you do.
Yes, I got it spot on. Yes, so Mondo again, a large motherfucker. I don't know how much he weighs, but it's got to be a lot because he's giant. Arms ridiculous, legs ridiculous. He's always been in and about like the top three, so really, really close. But he finally took the win. So this is, yeah, that's Dan's Grandmaster's client. You can see there again, posing wise, definitely could be improving that. And I think that he could have been quite competitive in this lineup, if he did have better posing. Mondo again, glaze wise, if he had more glaze on, because when Mondo started sweating in the overall later on, it actually looked better on him.
He
Like
looked unreal, yeah, when he
yeah,
had
like
that shine to him.
his upper body was like it just everything popped like a whole lot more because he was sweating, but it wasn't like one singular line of sweat. His whole upper body was just like yeah, covered. It was like it literally was the perfect glaze. It was like it
Uh,
just didn't look right because his legs were still completely dry. Like his legs weren't
uh,
sweating, but his upper body was. If his full body was glazed like that, I think, he would have looked significantly better. So just something again to take for future. But this guy here was very, very shapely. Like you can even see it there. Look at the size of his waist, compared to the way that his lats sweep out.
so that guy came second. Like everybody was telling him, go classic, but
Yeah.
he's actually like a couple of kilos too heavy.
Right.
But
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he's doing classic physique for the other shows later on in the season. Maybe not UKFBA, but the
Nice.
other shows he will be.
I don't know what his name is. Um,
Tyvon, Tyvon. Mikey posed with him at the
Yvonne.
Rough
Oh
Diesel thing.
yes, I did see that actually. Yeah, yeah.
He's
Yeah,
really
Mondo's really good. Just big, and he's always been like slightly off, like just condition wise, he's never quite there. But he's definitely came in that little bit sharper. It's just a big guy.
I
You can
think
even
he was
see it
just
as
a
well.
little bit sharper through the lower body, which is why he took the win.
Yeah,
Like it was very close, but I think Mondo was definitely the worthy
yeah,
winner.
yeah. So this is him here hitting the reel with the stats on it. Um, you'll see like waist wise, pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's very well shaped. If he's a little bit leaner again as well, very, very dangerous. It's just a case of getting that little bit leaner. Who is that? Is that Guy Chardon? Yes, it is.
Oh, he's a pro, GBO pro.
Oh, sick. I didn't even see that. I didn't like clock that at all there. Sick. So yeah, he could be really, really, really good. If he's that little bit sharper, comes a little bit leaner, he's pretty damn dangerous. And that takes us to the overall. So if we head on to Ukdfba's page again. So the final class was obviously the men's heavyweight bodybuilding. So Mondo came straight back on. Like I didn't realize that they were going to go straight again. But Mondo's came straight back on, and the overall lineup was very competitive. Like I enjoyed watching the overall. I don't know about you, Matt, but it was quite like fucking hell, who's going to win this type of thing.
You couldn't tell. It wasn't like there was a standout. Like there was three or four guys.
Yeah,
Like there was three who were definitely very, very close, and then there was Jacob, who I think got a little bit overlooked.
I think that as well. Yeah,
But we'll maybe touch on that. But yeah, there was maybe four guys who were all very, very close to each other.
yeah. I'm trying to think who would have had it, and there anyone have the overall lineup.
I've might have it on my phone.
It's difficult to. Well, I think Adam in his post with Tom might have had some shots of them together.
So,
So
probably.
yeah, AJ and Tom, it ended up being a split decision between them. Jacob, I think, should have been looked at a little bit more, as you say, Matt, a little bit overlooked. I don't think I don't think Jacob maybe looked as sharp as he was earlier on. Difficult to tell, obviously, because complete different lineup and everything like that. But Jacob is lean, but he's not like out of his mind peeled. Like Jacob definitely is more than lean enough, but like there's that level of kind of grainy skin that I would say maybe Tom has here that he doesn't. Overall, again, like muscle maturity, if you look at the rear shots, Jacob's are a little bit weaker. Just not much as much depth to his back, but again, super bubbly from the front. So Jacob's front shots are brilliant, but then from the back lacks a little bit. But AJ and Tom are pretty strong from the rear. AJ's glutes are pretty ridiculous. Like even when he's just like walking about stage, you're like, what the fuck is that? Tom obviously got good detail and you can see they're very grainy back, but it was between Tom, AJ, and then the classic guy. So they announced that Tom and AJ were split decision 3-3, and then they were like, well, the head judge coming in. Who would be the head judge? Is it Christian?
Question, yeah.
So head judge decides who takes it by 1 point between it, and then they gave it to AJ and Tom. They were announcing that Tom was second, and they were like trying to call out, and AJ had just finished congratulating everyone. So like in the middle of them shouting for Tom, AJ just goes, "Yes!" screams in front of everyone. I was like, poor Tom. But yeah, that was a really, really competitive overall, as you can see there. He is fucking wild. Then the classic guy only had 1 point. Yeah, that's AJ screaming yes in
Ah,
front of everyone. Yes! going mental over it. But yeah, a good overall. AJ got handed his pro card, or it wasn't a pro card, it's a pro status, isn't it?
UKFBA Pro status, yeah, whatever that
Yeah.
means.
So I've never heard all that. Does that just mean that he's a
It's brand new since I think because they've split with the INBA,
have
so they're
they?
just now awarding like pro cards for the UKFBA.
Since when did they split with IMBP and NBA?
Fucking ages ago, mate,
Is that when they announced the mad trifecta thing and it was the
with the FBA thing.
yeah, so AJ Lee and then another guy that does something else like there was a thing they called like the trifecta or something. There was a mad reel that came out and there was like dragons and shit on it and I was like,
Yes.
fuck is
Yeah, I
that
remember
on?
that.
I could have been something to do with that.
Yeah, I didn't know they'd stepped away from the PNBA, which is probably a good shout to be fair. Like the
But I
standard
think you still qualify for the worlds and stuff because obviously AJ's going, Tom's
I was
going.
gonna say, so the worlds that AJ is doing is that the PNBA?
Yeah, but you don't qualify as an INBA, PNBA Pro, or PNBA Pro it would be. I don't
Right.
really know what the fuck's going on, mate, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone does.
Pro card, fuck it. He got
Yeah.
handed his pro status. He got a little axe, a little Valhalla axe, which is quite cool to be fair. Would you
Mhm.
rather have an axe or would you rather have a sword?
Sword.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think I'd rather sword.
but they didn't hand out swords. They
Mate,
were
it's better than the fucking Two Bros plate.
the two
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
dildo.
true.
crispy for Two Bros, man.
Dude, who was it that won the dildo? It was Jack Eagles, wasn't it? It was like a weird glass dildo, and he said like buzzing to win this dildo, and he got forced to take it down. I think it was Kuba and Meg show. It was like the MK Classic, and like fucking Kuba wasn't happy with him. But yeah, that is crazy work. But they were handing out a big trophy because this is the one that I won in 2023. So I've got the trophy in my mum's office. So it's just like a standard cup. So an axe is definitely a step forwards. But yeah, you got handed pro status, and that kind of wraps us up. To be honest,
So
there.
in the show review, they said Tom, if he had won, he would have got offered his pro status as well.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, so
Yeah,
it
because
wasn't
there's a bit
just
of
like, oh,
controversy
because
as
it's
to
AJ Norris. Yeah,
yeah, it's like it's as if they already had it waiting there for him to win it and then to
yeah,
go
I
for
think
it.
they knew it was
But
coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, quickly, Matt, men's physique, go for it for Noah to see.
So junior men's physique absolutely dominated by Sam. Uh,
Yeah.
I can't really remember the other guys, if I'm being honest.
You know
Sam,
Sam's Instagram? I don't know who this is.
It's like
Sam Bream, SB
SB.
Fit,
Yeah.
but he might be.
Oh, Sam Bream. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, he done M physique as well.
Yes. I
But
forgot.
I didn't know what the other I didn't know if it was because he was just out his mind peeled or like what the standard of the other guys were.
No, he was just the best by far.
Yeah.
He was really really good.
I was going to
Um,
search up, but he doesn't even have any photos of it on his own page and we looked, so there's no point. Next ones.
there was one really really good class. What was it? They did first timers actually. First timers. So see Danny, just go down there
Yeah.
in the blue shorts. So I think he was in first timers men's physique. Is that the only photo? I think he came. Oh, where did he come? I don't know. It'll be on Max.
Oh, I'll put some, it might be up
That's
in
good
post
to be
there.
fair. Oh yeah, yeah. Him here.
We got third.
And is this first timers men's
I
physique?
think this is first timers men's physique. Yeah, it was quite good to be fair. Quite competitive. Nobody was like outrageous, but they were all quite close to each other.
Yep.
Um, see, I think he came third. Honestly, can't remember. Everyone was kind of starting to fucking lose their mind by this point in the day.
What
Most
time did the
people were
show
going home.
finish at?
It was after 7, I think.
Oh, that's not too bad, is it?
Nah, not awful, but this was probably the standout class. So if you this was I think it was just one men's physique open. This was outrageous because you had the guy on the far left was good. That's who it is, Leo Golden Child. He was very good. You
Yep.
had Jack Tompkins, who's unbelievable.
This is
You
Tim's
then
client, Jack.
that Tim's client. You had this guy in the
He's
middle,
very shapely.
Gianni.
He's good.
You
Yeah.
had Gianni in the middle,
This is the
who
Italian guy that done PC the week before.
I don't know if it is the same guy.
Is it? Because there was a guy at
Might
that
be.
PCA show that was wild that looks kind
No,
of
it's
similar
not
to that
him.
where like he's super straight out the
He
way.
came fifth, the Gianni guy at the PC, I'm pretty sure.
Did he?
Yeah.
So yeah, and then you
He
had
won overall,
Max
the guy
who won
next
the
to him.
overall,
Yep, he
and
won
then you
overall the week
had
before. Prince.
Prince.
Prince's aura forms every year. He's
Prince
leading
is
all
fucking
year round.
incredible. Prince is
He's
so
leading
good.
all year round and just comes into PCA shows and just picks up the overall.
Yeah. Guy competes like 5 shows a year plus at least.
Mhm.
At least. Yeah,
So,
good class there. Who,
so
sorry, did he win this? He won
yeah. So the
gold?
guy in the middle won. Then Prince came second.
Yep.
Then Miles came third.
The same
Jack
year.
came fourth,
Yep.
and then another guy came fifth. So
Yeah.
Prince got one up on Miles.
Yep, because he
For
beat him in the
yeah,
overall the week before.
yeah, and like for like Jack to place fourth, like that's ridiculous. But
Yeah.
it was fair enough. But Jack's like incredible. Jack's like really really good. So
His shape is
how good that
crazy. This
lineup
boy
was.
here.
They
Yeah.
said that your man in the middle he would have won his pro status if they had kind of known more about him.
What do
Which
you mean, like,
so like
Not got
if
much
he
of a
competed,
social
yeah,
media.
if
right,
they like
okay.
it's to do with like your background as well as and your accolades. Like AJ has multiple accolades behind him. They didn't know anything about this guy.
I don't really understand that.
Yeah, his post just first time seeing the back shot on WoW best package I have ever brought to the stage, and then just like a blurry photo of every shot.
Oh,
Who
blame it.
goes in? Was he the guy that won the overall?
Yeah,
So he wins it overall, posted this, and it's all just a blurry photo with a wee teeny caption. That's cold. Oh no,
but
that
he
was
looked ridiculous. He was very very tall, so he had that stage presence. The
yeah.
only thing I would say is that he wasn't that balanced. Like his delts were so big, his chest was lacking, so it made it look a bit imbalanced. He had a good midsection, but it wasn't asymmetrical, or it wasn't symmetrical. It was asymmetrical, which I don't really think is that nice in men's physique. I prefer something like
This
Prince, where
is
you've just got like the fucking looks like a fucking I don't even know, like an ice cube block, or it's just
yeah,
like
yeah.
perfect.
This is
Um,
17 weeks out, or was that 7 years ago? I assume that's 7 years ago, because surely not.
Look at his, go in his face side by side.
I don't know. So 11 weeks out compared to 17 weeks out from an actual Ukdfba men's physique show. My return to stage after 7 years. So I
So
assume
that's
7 years.
17. That's 17 weeks out. The other one's 11 weeks out.
yeah, yeah.
Really, that's impressive. So you're thinking that this is from now, like
This
this
is
year.
Yeah.
I'm thinking this
17
might be
weeks
from
ago. Yeah,
7 years ago because he says my return after 7 years. So you think that's 17 weeks? Mate,
it is.
that's
Why would he
impressive.
mention the 17 weeks if that wasn't
Yeah.
the
What's he
image?
comparing it to?
So this is 11 weeks out and that's 17 weeks out.
Yeah.
Yeah, geez, oh. So to go from that 17 weeks out to looking like this is rather impressive.
Yeah,
Fair dues to the guy. He looks very good. So he won the overall for men's physique. And yeah, a competitive lineup there. He is very shapely, him. Super
Yeah.
bubbly, short guy. Kind
He's
of
got
reminds me of the Captain America guy for last year a little bit.
Oh, mate. He
Cox
was
Edge.
so sick.
That is aura. He was very good,
Very good.
Captain America. Just does his own thing as well.
Yeah,
He kicks about. But yeah, show wrapped up. All good.
Yeah. There you go.
Anyone get any questions? I've not looked.
I did, but they're from Bake Gyres.
Oh, we're not listening
No,
to
they're
Jake.
not going to be great then, are they?
Haven't actually looked at them. Where does Butcher place in Calvin's class?
Good shout.
So
It depends.
based
Like,
on last year, I'm getting third. I think second or third.
yep.
I don't think I'm beating the guy who won.
This
Based on
next time
this
you
year,
compete,
I don't
though,
know.
I'd say you've got a good chance of winning that.
Hmm?
If you make similar improvements to last time, from last time
That's
to
what I mean. Like
this
if I
time to
was
next
to,
time, then you've got a good chance of
yeah,
winning that, I think. Who are we
yeah,
taking overall wise if it were to be um I'm trying to think last year who won the overall compared to AJ.
Jacob
Jacob
Clipper,
Dante won the Heart of England. Was that it there? With
Jacob.
fifth goal. Here's a throwback to May's overall champions. Yeah, so do you think Jacob takes AJ?
No,
No, I think AJ's more balanced. Jacob's quads are absolutely outrageous, but AJ is a more complete bodybuilder. Captain America wins the men's physique overall realistically, doesn't he?
yep,
Yeah.
Yes. And again, apologies if there's any females out here watching this because I don't know. Noah, you would be best to do this, but you're not.
I
You weren't.
didn't see the
You weren't
result.
watching the show, so
Yeah, didn't see the
it then
result.
makes that a little bit more difficult. But yeah, I think that covers everything, eh?
Yeah.
Got a couple more quick fire ones.
Yeah, fire them. I can see that smirk on your face.
God, man.
Where does Noah place in women's bikini?
I
I'm
think
overall
Forrest.
women's wellness, mate.
Yeah.
Does does Noah get top five in any class of the day?
That's
You
terrible.
know, have you not seen how good I am, mate? Come on.
Was that Jake?
Yeah.
Obviously, it's fucking Jake.
And
Oh,
then the final one Jake put in, how did George Osborne bring such a complete package to the stage?
we need to find the photo of the guy.
So I know the guy's name now because he's coached by Ryan Brambleby.
Okay.
He's called Lloyd.
I've just shut it down, Instagram. Can you see me looking at all
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
in front of you? Cool. We'll go
For
here.
people who don't know what we're on about,
What's the guy's name?
guy Lloyd, Lloyd, and then Royd,
Lloyd Royd. Oh,
yep, Roid. Lloyd the Royd.
Point the
Lloyd
Roy.
Royd. Fair dues.
Is that him?
It is not
Yeah,
me
Is
at all.
that him?
so this guy walked out and Jake went, oh, there's George Osborne.
It doesn't. Surely that can't
Doesn't
be
look
him.
anything like
If
him.
it'll be on Ryan's page.
That is not him.
It is him.
That
Can't
can't be
be.
Lloyd the Royd.
It's on, it's
Lloyd
on
Royd.
Ryan's. It's on Ryan's page.
Ryan, Ryan Physique Collective.
This guy actually looked pretty decent. It was first timers classic.
Oh, it is. It's
So it is him, yeah.
George Osborne. That's all. He's just bald and has a beard.
Bald and beard.
And then George walks past us, and I was like, Jake, say something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Congrats on
Congrats on the show and
congrats.
earlier on. Yeah,
Yeah,
well
but
done,
yeah,
George
he looked pretty
Osborne.
good first time competing.
Great showing. I didn't get any
Um,
questions and washed.
I've got one more. Shay McCall, best Ben and Jerry's flavor.
Not a
Oh,
Ben and Jerry's
now
guy.
I can talk. This is the only part of the podcast I can talk now.
Now the podcast has been extended another hour. Every single flavor to go through.
I've got a list to be fair.
I honestly
I
couldn't
like
tell you apart from cookie dough and
I
what's the
like
one
I
called
like
the
fish
fish.
food too, yeah.
Fish
Yeah.
food.
I don't like caramel choo choo or whatever that one is. I'm not
Yeah,
allowed
What
it's pretty
is
low
fish
down.
food?
too sickly.
What is the fish food one? Like, what does it consist of?
It's
It's
chocolate ice cream
marshmallow and
with
dark
bits of
and
marshmallow.
yeah.
Yeah, just yeah.
Yeah, hold on.
Just
Yeah.
yeah. Matt, what ones did you consume at the weekend? That's the question.
So for those who don't know, I had 4 tubs over the weekend.
That's
Not to
fucking
myself, we split them to be fair, but we sampled 4 different ones. We had half baked, we had fish food, with Netflix and chilled, and then we had the caramel sutra one.
Half
Could you
baked's
tell
good.
me what
Half
Netflix and
baked
chill
is
does?
my number one.
Half baked's nice.
Could someone tell me what half baked is and Netflix and chill does? Because I don't know.
I don't know what Netflix and chill is.
Next, Netflix and chilled is like peanut butter ice cream. It was good, but it was like I couldn't eat a full tub of
Yeah,
it.
it's
Well, I
funny.
could eat a full tub, but I wouldn't have enjoyed it. I
Mm.
would have just got it down me. But half baked is like vanilla ice cream, fucking cookie dough. There's other shit in it, more cookies.
Yeah, it's like a mix of a bunch of different shit. It's so good.
I
Not a
think
Ben
there's
and
chocolate
Jerry's
ice
guy,
cream
to
in
be
it.
honest.
Chocolate ice cream.
Oh, I'm ready.
They've just brought a new one out on their website just now. Sweet Mango Memories.
See, that's more like a sorbet. I want something that makes me feel like I've got pounds of fat added onto me when I'm eating it.
Caramel brownie party, chocolate fudge brownie, chocolatey love affair.
Chocolate fudge brownie's nice.
Chunky monkey looks nice.
Oh, is that the banana ice cream one?
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
I
got like
haven't
a bit
tried
of
that. That'll
walnut
be
or
good.
something in it as well, though. That
That'll
looks
be
lovely,
nice.
though. I might need to just go and buy one of them right now and eat them.
Yeah, man. The next podcast is a taste review. We've all got 10 flavors each. That
Oh,
actually
yeah.
reminds me, right? I was in prep. This sounds awful, but I was in prep and Stan basically texted me when he was on holiday saying, Can you go on Pizza Hut and order this for me? And he gave me an exact code to use. So I was like, yeah, sure, no worries. Why? He goes, I just want 5 Ben and Jerry tubs, but use this code. There was a glitch in the website where if you put in an order, you got them all for free and you only
Oh,
had to pay
yes.
for delivery. I've got photos and videos on my Snapchat from ordering 14 tubs of Ben and Jerry's ice cream. My whole freezer's just Ben and Jerry's. All I had to pay for was the delivery. The delivery driver came and he goes, "Are you having a party?" And I was like, "No, it's just for me." And he goes, "Yeah, the shop's really angry the fact that you've got all of these and you've only had to pay. They've lost 14 tubs of ice cream because they called me and said." Hi, just to give you a heads up, we don't have this flavor anymore. What flavor do you want instead of this? I was like, oh, well, if you don't have cookie dough, have you got. And I was like ringing up Pizza Hut, getting all these flavors. And I've genuinely got a video like lined up like this on the kitchen counter. There's about 14 Ben and Jerry tubs. And then obviously I gave Stan his stockpile when he came back from holiday. But you only had to pay for delivery, and it was such. I was thinking, what, I get nine, and I only paid maybe £6 because I had to do like multiple
Glitch in the
trips.
Matrix, mate. Jeez, oh,
There
Mhm.
you go, man.
fair
That's
dues.
what Rogue is.
There was one that seemed nicer that I just seen. Spectacular.
Is that the cinnamon one?
Yeah, sweet ice cream with caramel cinnamon cookies and caramel cinnamon cookie swirls. I don't
Oh,
like cinnamon, but it just looks nice.
I'm definitely getting
Strawberry
a couple this
cheesecake.
weekend.
Yeah, another four
Every
tubs.
Saturday night I have a tub of Ben and Jerry's. That's why I look so good.
That's it. That's the secret to it all.
Yeah.
That's it. Right. Yap done. Show review done. All
yep.
good.
All
All
good.
good, man. I need to go
Wonderful.
train.
Hopefully you've all enjoyed. Thank you for tuning in once again. My laptop's about to run out of battery as well, so good timing. But yeah, if you want to get coached by any of us, hit the fucking link in the bio. Even if you don't, just hit the link in the bio, do it anyway. Matt obviously got spaces for posing, and he's a free man now, free of the range. So
Yes.
some more availability for posing calls and just spaces and slots in general. Myself, Noah, and Finn all have spaces, I believe. I don't know about Finn with the gym and stuff, but I think he is still taking people on. So yeah, if you are interested in any of that, then please do have a look at our Instagram. So that's all. Have a good one. Catch us in the next episode, and we'll see you then.
Bye bye.
Bye.